Hello, Utah. Welcome to Your Creativity, the podcast that keeps on
going. Yeah, we're still here.
My mom keeps listening.
Good.
Well, actually, no, maybe we should actually set her up so she really should listen. She might be surprised to listen to us someday.
Well, episode 152 episodes ago, we're time travelers now.
Oh, yeah.
Is me. So that's a big interest piece for
So that would be a good one.
Yeah, that'll be a good one.
Maybe I'll wait until you're done, and then we should get your mom and everybody in it.
Oh, no. No. You have my wife's going to help with that. So I think that's enough pressure and enough roasting.
Well, today we're up at the chocolate shop again, and you're going to hear the nice buzz of the chocolate cabinets, the ice crashing down in the ice maker, and it smells like chocolate.
You're painting a beautiful picture, Steve. I love it.
I'm painting a beautiful picture?
Yes.
Okay. Well, it smells like chocolate. That was pretty good.
It does, yes.
But I'm excited for our guest. So our guest is Fernando Ramirez.
Steve, we've gone to the dogs.
That
was a joke.
Okay, Dylan didn't write down that joke because he should have practiced that one.
Yeah,
but we do go to the dogs today. Why are we going to the dogs?
Well, Fernando owns a business called Rancho Luna Lobos. I keep on thinking Loco Lobos for some reason.
Yeah,
wait, that's like Ranch of the Crazy Moon or something.
That'd be a better Ranch of the Crazy Wolves. That'd be a better name, right?
But it's Luna Moon Wolves.
Moon Wolves, that's correct.
So yeah, that's kind of the elephant in the room. Where did the name come from?
So when I was a kid, when I first started running dogs, I had this little wolf hybrid, and under a full moon in the winter, I would sneak out at night and run my dogs on the trails. So that just that story always kind of hit a soft spot with my wife, and so she's like, we should name it after something like that, your experience as a kid, and so that's why we called it, Rancho.
Wait, do you still sneak out of the house at like 11 at night?
Yeah.
And your wife was like, where the hell did he go? And then that's where it came from?
It's more like the dogs are barking. My wife kicks me out of bed and says, go check on what's going on. So
it's your turn.
Exactly, yeah. It happens to be my turn every night, but yeah, it works.
But wait, you're based in Peoa.
We're based in Peoa, yeah, just like 10 minutes outside of Park City.
That is Bigfoot country. And so maybe the dogs are onto him.
Maybe. My boys are pretty avid Bigfoot hunters, so I didn't know that. I'll have to tell them that.
Yeah, it's like total Bigfoot country up there.
Is it really?
Which is probably why the dogs are barking.
Maybe.
They're trying to get your attention.
Yeah, probably.
Is Holiday Bigfoot country? Because my dog's been barking outside a lot lately.
I mean, technically Bigfoot's probably pretty fast, so I bet he could probably run that in a night.
And we've got Mitt Romney up that way, so
could be it could be that too. Oh my gosh,
that's so funny.
Wait, how old were you when you had your first dog?
First sled dog, I was about 9 years old. It was a yellow lab named Yellow, and I saw a movie called Balto, and after that movie, I had this little plastic table I turned upside down. It was like a little toy table. Put some skis on the bottom of it, and that was like my first makeshift sled. And so he'd pull me around, and that's kind of where the journey started with Yellow.
Where was that?
In Park City. Yeah, I grew up in Park City. My parents still live in the property they did live then, and so same house. And yeah, so it's we just took down our my childhood kennels, which was kind of bittersweet, but my parents needed the room for other things, so it was kind of sad to see that go.
They're Airbnb-ing your old bedroom out?
Actually, yeah, like half the house they've turned into an apartment for an Airbnb.
Oh my god.
Yeah. You called that one, Steve.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, it's Park City. I would do that, but I probably would have like booted him out at 9 and have been like, you could sleep outside tonight. Yeah. We have Raul here, or we have like whoever's gonna show up is gonna come and be the guest tonight.
Yeah.
You're not laughing. Fernando didn't like that idea at 9, but I'm just throwing it out there. You could still probably do that.
I could, yeah. Might work.
But you're not 9 anymore. So from that sled to starting your business, what did you growing up? Did you start do racing as a kid and teenager?
Yeah, so I grew up racing. My parents, bless them, they'd take me all over to Idaho, Wyoming, Colorado. to enter some of those more well-known weekend races. And that's, I was a deathly shy kid. I was so shy I wouldn't go up to anyone and ask about anything. But my father was pretty adamant about me going up and asking some of the well-known and professional mushers about like their secrets, their training regimens, and over the years I've acquired a sense of knowledge from all of them and kind of put my own flair into it. And so that's kind of what we're running with now.
That's awesome.
Who was your idol growing up?
Growing up?
Yeah.
Gosh, so many people. I always I was more of like, Tarzan was my hero, right? He wanted to get up there. But there's in the dog mushing world, there's a gentleman named Martin Boozer. He was just he's such a sweet, like, humble man. And when his approach to his dogs, he's very kind. And you can just see that kindness resonate through his interviews and the way he interacts with his dogs. And that's just something I've always wanted to adopt and make sure that, when I was interacting with my dogs, it was just purely kindness and genuine and that loving atmosphere for them. And that's what I admired about him. Yeah.
Thinking of dogs and being, obviously there's a zillion ways to train. Does a dog naturally pick it up, or do you have to train them how to race?
That's actually a great question. The one thing I can't teach these guys is that drive and passion to want to run. So if the dog loves to run and they're high maintenance, high strung, in that sense, high maintenance is what I mean. It's just mainly channeling their energy. So Dana and I currently care for 78 dogs.
Holy crap.
Yeah, it's a lot. And I would say
and that is a lot of crap, too.
It is a lot of crap. Yeah, we're about 50 to 100 pounds a day
So how much food is that?
Yeah, it's a 3,000 pounds of kibble, just kibble, about every 5 weeks. Yeah, and that's not including their raw meat diet and everything, all the other supplements that go into it.
The little personal massages at night for each dog.
They actually do get personal massages. They have a canine chiropractor that come and align them just so they're good and healthy.
Well, I would be barking at 11 in the morning if I was like wanting something like that.
Yeah.
I'd be like, hello, anyone? But I'd also be the dog that was like a lazy ass. And so I would be the dog that would just be like, I'll just sit in the sled.
Yeah. We have some of those. We really do. Yeah. 85% of our pack are made up of rescue dogs. So dogs, and that is becoming kind of a trend lately with some of the shows that have come out, like Game of Thrones, and name one. People want these Nordic-looking breeds, and they want to take them in, but don't really understand the maintenance that go behind it. And more often than not, you find them either in shelters or they're surrendered over to organizations like us, where hey, Fernando, Dana, we can't take care of these dogs anymore. Can you help us? And so that's where we take them in. We really try to learn every dog's personality. So we don't really consider ourselves like quote dog whisperers, right? And Dana and I, we joke around. We say we're more like dog listeners. We'll sit there. We'll listen to what they have to say, because every dog does have a story, and they have a background, and they have a voice. And you have to be very, very. How should we say? We have to take the time to really listen to what they're telling you on what they want. And training them to run sleds, that's something that they choose to do, but I'm more of their coach. Like, all right, now I can coach you to be the sled dog you want to be, but I can't coach a dog to let's go pull. It's a different thing. So if we do get a dog that doesn't like to pull, we take our time, we train him, and then we find a really good family to rehome him to.
Okay, so how much shedding?
A lot of shedding. Yeah. You would think it's over after 3 months of brushing, and then it keeps going on. Yeah.
So a typical day, when would it begin, and what would the process be of taking care of the dogs?
Man, our day starts at 6 a.m. and that starts with morning rotation, taking care of the sled dogs. They get about 4 to 6 hours of playtime a day, and that's not including their running time, when they're on the sled. In the summer, we swim them about 2 to 3 times a week, so that takes quite a bit of time. And then kennel maintenance. There's always kennel maintenance because they're so destructive. And that's just one part of our ranch. And then the other part of our ranch, we have what we call a doggy pueblo. So it's like a little area that's enclosed, completely enclosed, and there's two 300 square foot cottages that are built just like homes. You know, they have like hardwood floors, dog beds, even have Netflix and Amazon Prime, air conditioning.
They're 80-inch like large screen TV. They could watch the Animal Channel.
Yeah, they only have the 40-inch, but yeah, I mean, they like it. They like it.
So when you get sent to the doghouse, you're okay.
I know, that's what I tell everyone. Yeah, I have a nice doghouse to go to.
What percentage of those dogs that you have are the racers, and what are for other purposes?
Yeah, so let's see. I have 20 dogs that are specifically training for racing, and I have about 6 to 7 retired dogs that are just, you know, hanging around, just enjoying the ranch life. And then the rest of them are, you know, they're running tours or they're helping with junior mushers, or, you know, it's very, they're more involved in kind of like the core of what our ranch is, and that's bringing other dogs that are, so it's like kind of like a pack mentality. So they bring and welcome in the other dogs, and they show them how we do things at the ranch. So they welcome into the pack, and they help with training, if that makes sense. And so whenever we do bring a new dog and we're integrating them into the sled dog world, you know, our current pack will help them kind of mesh in, and they're very, very sweet, and they help that transition become like an easy process for them.
That's cool.
74 dogs?
Yeah, about 70, 74 or something.
Do you know all their names?
I do, yeah, I do. We just, unfortunately, we
And
lost.
go.
I know, right? Yeah. We just lost a couple due to old age, which is kind of a bummer. That's always a hard part when that time comes, when we do lose the dogs, because they become a part of our family. And there have been, especially when the pandemic hit, we lost 3 dogs that were very, very special to us. And it was one of those that was a point in my life where I was really questioning, like, why am I doing this? You know, it's just so much. Sometimes there's so much heartache when you lose a dog. It's hard to look past that and want to continue. But then you look at the faces of the other dogs at the ranch, and you know that they still need us. They still need our attention and time and effort.
So during, you know, shutdown and everything, what did you guys do? I always like to hear stories about how people pivoted during that time or took advantage of kind of the slower time.
That was an interesting time. Dane and I, my wife and I, had just returned from World Championships in Canada, and we just got through the border, literally. Got
when
home.
they shut everything down.
Yeah, like the next day they shut it down, we were lucky. And we thought about staying another day and training with a friend. And we thought, no, we need to get back down there, because our crew was holding on the entire ranch and still running our tours. And so we decided to go down, and the next day we ran tours, and then that's when we heard the news that everything was going to be shut down. And, you know, it wasn't too much of a problem. Dana and I are out there working, and we did work like we do every other spring. We got out into the mountains. We were training our younger dogs or newer rescue dogs. So it seemed like everything was the same, but we could definitely feel the effects and the impact, you know, that, because we lost about a month and a half of tours, and everything we make with the dogs goes right back into our kennel, because their feed, I spend about 40 grand a year on their feed, and it's expensive. So because they need the top of the best food. Each dog eats about 10,000 calories a day in the winter.
That's Steve here with the sugar cookies, right?
I mean, close to the 40 grand a year on the sugar cookies. Dylan.
I spend a lot of time alone, so I'm in the jokey mood today.
Here, I want to touch on something though. So, I mean, there's the TV show Afterlife or something with Ricky Gervais, however you say his name. But his wife dies. The thing that motivates him, he doesn't want to get out of bed. It was his dog was wanting food. Oh, yeah. And you kind of mentioned that. But I want to talk about, okay, how have the dogs helped you through the pandemic? And have they helped you through, like, you know, just the different emotions going on? And how?
That's a great question, and that's something I've been thinking about this last few years. The dogs have definitely got us through the pandemic in terms of I just focused on them, and they needed my help, they needed my attention, and so it was nice because our children were doing home from school. They'd get their work done really fast, and then we'd spend the rest of the day with the dogs and going to the mountains and training. So it forced us to spend time as a true family with our fur kids and with our man cubs, and we were really out there and really bonding. And so that it helped us to really draw closer as a family, if that makes sense, because with how busy life is, and we get people from all over the world that visit us, so we feel like we share so much of our life, so much of our time with people that come from all over the world, but being able to kind of step away from that and just dive into our family more and to our dogs more and connect with them more on a different level it meant the world to me. It was good for my heart. It really was. And it also kind of opened my eyes more about the touring industry as a whole. And that's something that Dana and I have been very, how should we say it, like persistent in not letting that topic go and keeping it on the forefront of our minds, because the touring and dog sled as a whole is kind of in a gray light, to be honest. Either some people really like it or some people are totally against it. And that's where we, with our ranch and what we do in our mission, we try to shine the positive light that dog sledding, that unique, the unique art form that dog sledding is. We're trying to share that with the world, and how it is something like with these dogs, it's a form of therapy, and it's a form of therapy for me too. And yes, we're spending 16 hours a day, 12 to 16 hours a day with them, but it's so life-giving, and it's easy to sit back for me and think like, my gosh, like if I really break it down, I'm just a professional pooper scooper is what I am, but in the end, you're speaking into these lives. You're giving these dogs hope, and in return, they're giving you a fulfilled life that money can't buy. In that sense, if that makes sense, and I always joke around with some guests. They say, "Oh, you must love this," and I say, "I really do. It's a lot of fun. It's not easy, and it's not like it won't ever make me wealthy. I won't ever drive a Mercedes, but I love it, And they told me there's more things that are more important to life than driving a Mercedes. Like, trust me, and that makes me feel better. I mean, not better, but like I'm doing something right,
And they're probably looking at you jealous of the life you have and the closeness with the dogs.
Yeah. I mean, I get a lot of people that want to come and just hang out, and then they end up like volunteering for whenever they're available. So that it's nice to be able to bring them in and kind of pull them away from the stresses of life and technology and all the things that kind of crowd our mind every day, and just kind of plug back into nature.
You mentioned volunteering. What type of things do the volunteers do? My son's really into like animals and caring for them and that type of stuff.
That's a great question. A lot of our volunteers will come and they just want to see how the dogs live day to day. They want to see how they work every day. And so they'll come and just shadow us throughout the day and see and join us during training runs, or even if we're free hiking, they'll come during our free hikes, or even if it's just feeding the dogs, being able to get in there and feed them and draw close to them and just pet them, and it's quite a sight when some of our guests come or volunteers and they go into our dog yard, either one of two of them, and they're sitting down and just surrounded by anywhere between 10 to 30 dogs at once, just sunbathing really and just loving on the dogs. It's quite a sight, like where else can you do that in terms of just feeling like at complete peace with a bunch of furry animals.
I would be a chew toy for those dogs. Growing up, we had a Rottweiler German Shepherd mix, and he was huge, Rusty. And I just remember, like, he loved to play. So I would carry a baseball bat because, like, he would, like, totally, like, he would want to play with me, but he was way bigger than me. And I would use this bat, and then he would just use it as, like, a stick. And it was, like, nothing. And then Rusty also would get pissed when we'd leave him in the backyard and go inside. He would, like, get huge logs and drop them in the window well, just trying to, like, get us to come out and play with him.
Yeah.
But, yeah, so I was Rusty's chew toy also.
That's awesome.
So I'm sure I would definitely be a chew toy.
No.
What's an average weight of a dog?
Yeah.
Average
Of
weight.
yours?
So our dogs are more of Alaskan Huskies. So you have like the Alaskan Malamutes, or the big guys. The Siberian Huskies, they're like your medium-sized dogs. And then our Alaskan Husky is somewhere between your medium to medium small. So we have Alaskan Malamutes that weigh about 100 pounds, maybe 120. And then down to like our Greyhound Husky mixes, they're Alaskan Huskies. They're maybe about 55 pounds, 45 pounds. Yeah, so it's a good variety. And we have like 2 random St. Bernards that are just like our ranch dogs. Yeah, they wear the whiskey barrel and the whole
No
thing.
way.
Dig them out and everything.
Yeah, kinda. I mean, if I was buried in an avalanche, they would. I don't think they'd come save me. But
They'd be like, yeah, I mean, we're just going back to the house.
yeah, exactly.
He's on his own.
Yeah, one of them, Rolo, he loves to watch Netflix, and one of his favorite shows was Glee. And so whenever the actors would sing, he would howl or bark to it, and then all of a sudden, the Huskies were like, "Oh, what are you howling?" So then they started getting in on it. So now when they watch Glee,
They all watch Glee?
Yeah, they watch Glee, which is funny. And get this, here's this little short story. We donate a ride to the Steve Irwin Gala for the crocodile hunter, right? And we're down at we went down. It's a very fancy place. We felt so out of our like what we're normal or what we're used to. And we're sitting at a table and talking to this really awesome couple, and they were asking about the dogs and stuff like that, and we're like, I was asking what they did, and they're like, oh, well, I'm on Glee. You're like, oh my gosh,
My dog loves you.
yeah. He's like, I wouldn't write. I'm so sorry, I don't have time for TV, but my dogs would know you. Yeah. So he sent me a link of a couple of his YouTube videos when he was singing. And we got a film of him singing and the dogs howling to his song. And yeah, it was awesome.
Oh my gosh, that's hilarious.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Do you remember which one it was?
It was his name was Dean Geyer. Dean Geyer. He's
Okay.
toward the end of the episode, and I actually keep in touch with him through social media. He's a really good guy. He's awesome.
He wants to stay friends with the dogs.
Exactly. Yeah. It's not really me. It's the dogs.
Yeah, screw you. Rolo. He's friends with Rolo.
Rolo the Saint Bernard.
It's a little off subject, but when you talked about the dogs, surrounding person when they come into the thing, I recently went to Italy. In the middle of Rome, there's a cat sanctuary.
Oh, wow.
It's like under the street, in the middle of this lot of ruins. And we went into the, office area, and they've just got cages everywhere. And there's just, I think they said there's like 70 cats between outside and inside.
Oh, okay.
So it was something very similar to that, where we stepped in there and they were just like,
Wow.
yeah. And we had no idea till like near the end of our trip. Like, we would have been devastated if we heard about it after we left.
Yeah.
But it was just really amazing.
That is amazing. Wow, it's a lot of cats.
Yeah.
How many cats do you have?
We have like 3 mountain lions that roam the
Wait,
property.
serious?
Yeah, seriously.
Okay, how do they mix with the dogs?
They stay away from the dogs. Yeah. But every now and then, there was once where I was in the doggy pueblo and I got a text from a friend, and I pull out my phone, and our friend just like, hey, just literally drove past your house, and there was a mountain lion that crossed the road in front of my car, jumped the guardrail, and ran up towards you. Just a heads up. I'm like, well,
Don't
thanks.
let the children out.
Yeah, Yeah. It's a little scary.
Okay, what about experiences out on the race trail? You were talking about, in my mind, I'm thinking, oh, you're going to be a week on the trail, you're going to have snot frozen to your face, and you're going to just be dying for like a week on the trail. And sometimes you go through lakes and you fall through. What are some harrowing experiences?
Gosh, I'll tell you one that was a little crazy. There's this race that we compete in. So we compete more of in a mid-distance race. So we're not in the, like Iditarod is your long distance. You're out there sleeping on the trail. But the Pedigree stage race is 8 days long. You only run 35 miles a day, and it's fast, though. I mean, these dogs are running like 15 miles an hour. So that's like a 4-minute mile for over a marathon, which is pretty insane. So think about that speed. Going through this mountain pass, taking these 180-degree turns, and yeah, it gets, and you have 10 dogs. So if you think about 10 dogs, if you were to stand and imagine like a 20-foot line in front of you, if not a little bit more, and when they're taking that sharp turn, if you don't go into that turn properly, your sled's going to wrap up on a tree. So you have to lean out right, even run, try to take the turn and just not get hit by the tree, right?
How many tables did you go through to learn that?
Right, when I was a kid. A lot, and a lot of sleds, yeah. And a few dislocated shoulders. But, yes.
Oh, my gosh.
DI every weekend buying new tables.
I know, right? Yeah.
Sorry, Mom.
I know, yeah. The other one broke. Yeah, so this one, this particular stage was the second to last day up in Driggs, Idaho. And we're climbing about 2,200 feet in elevation gain, you know, but with that going down, it feels like you're going down ski slopes, like ski runs. So anyway, this one particular corner, so I always tell everybody, the way the dog team is formed, from where the lead dogs are, and then we're harnessed, and then the ropes connecting the dogs are called gang lines. And where those gang lines connect to the sled, and when your hands grip the sled, you're like working like one body. So it's very like intuitive, very almost telepathic. And so wherever my lead dogs, if their ears shift form, I can tell that they're thinking something and something's not right. I need to be aware of what they're thinking. So I see my lead dog, Yukon, his ears pop up, and he looks back, and I notice that there's a turn, a sharp turn, and I wasn't planning for it. So in order not to hit this tree, I swing out as wide as I can, but overcorrect, and they turn me, almost whip me onto the ground so hard, and I hit my head onto the snow, and they're dragging me down like this 10% grade, and I'm dragging and dragging. And now the dogs and I have an agreement that if they feel me dragging, they'll stop, you know? But they're having way too much fun going down this mountain, and I had to take my snow hook out, slam it into the ground so we're stopped. But these dogs, you know, we're going down, face down this mountain, and I'm thinking, oh my gosh, the way my anchor was hooked onto or anchored down, it pinned the sled to the side. So I knew if I wanted to stand the sled upright, I had to release my anchor. So I did a 3 count, 3, 2, 1, pop the anchor, hit the sled upright, jump onto the skis with my knees, work my way up, and seriously 15 feet later, there was another sharp turn and had to take that. Luckily, I was okay. But, I mean, that's just one of many, you know, running into wolves in West Yellowstone, you know, when we're out there. That, you know, it's just so many different adventures you run into with those guys.
How many bears? Well,
No
they're
bears.
hibernating.
Exactly. You're the first one to say that. Yeah. Everyone asks me about bears, but they're like, no, they're hibernating.
What about buffalo?
Buffalo once. West Yellowstone, there was a good stampede of them. I kind of waited a little bit, kind of let them run their little way. They curved out to the left away from the trail and went down to this lake, and we were able to keep going, but that would have ended bad. But despite that, can you guys guess what the most dangerous animal is out there?
The mountain.
Well, mountain lions are pretty badass, but I
Pretty tall, big, antlers.
Elk?
Not elk.
just like a deer.
The moose.
A moose
Moose
is the most dangerous.
most dangerous. I would rather encounter or run by a pack of wolves, right, than one moose. Like moose will come literally if they feel threatened, they'll come and trample your whole team. Like they're really, really scary. So if we're ever training out in the backcountry here in Utah, for example,
There's a lot of moose up in that canyon.
there's a ton of moose. I have an employee that runs ahead of me in a snowmobile just to make noise, so we've never had any issues. Yeah.
How many has he ran into?
There's been a couple times where he'll call me on the radio. He's like, "Friend, let's turn the dog team around now. We got to get back." And like, "Oh, gotcha. Okay, let's go."
The Moose Patrol.
Yeah, Moose Patrol. Just get him a badge for that.
I mean, it could have been like a bunny too, like a bunny. Some of those are rabbit, and they could have been like pretty mean animals also.
Rabbits? Yeah, I mean,
it's just
distract the dogs too, right?
I mean, yeah, like the dogs would have fun, but it would just be. I mean, I'm not really sure that would be very fun for you.
Right. A lot of that'd be
A lot of
mess.
chasing. A lot of chasing. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
So you mentioned like tours and programs and summer camps. Tell us about those.
So our summer camps, we decided to open something up for the kids so they can come and learn. So a lot of the local kids, and that's my biggest passion is having that. And so now our off season is completely overshine our winter. So yeah, and I love that. So we have a ton of kids that come by. We do 7 weeks out of the summer, and they're each about a week-long camp. So the kids come out and they learn everything and anything about dog sledding. And we do a lot of team building exercises, a lot of activities with the dogs. And then recently, about 4 years ago, we started our winter junior program. So the kids come out and learn what it is to learn to drive dog teams. And so that's a fun time. So we have this program that goes from November to the end of January, and then we host a race for them at the end of January, and then we have a fun awards banquet, and it's really fun. It's a good time, and that's like my dream to just focus on that. The touring aspect of things is a lot of fun. My passion is having our guests come to our ranch and learning more of the educational side of things with this sport. So our tours are very different from a lot of other companies throughout the U.S. or maybe even the world. I don't know, but so it's an hour and 45-minute tour with only a 25 to maybe 30-minute ride, and the ride's only an exhibition just to show what the dogs can do. But the rest of the tour is just a presentation, a kennel tour, and playtime with the dogs, and then the ride. So when people come to our ranch, I want them to feel inspired. I want them to leave feeling yeah, the ride was fun, but hearing the story of our Humberto, the blind lead dog, I mean, and that's powerful, and this dog came to us, and 5 years we've been working with him. He's completely blind, and he's leading teams. It's just, that's the kind of metaphor that we want to share with the world, is that despite some of the challenges we do have, if we really want something and we're passionate about it, there is a way to do it. And it may not be easy, but it can be done. And so whenever I'm having a bad day and I look at Humberto, I'm like, that's awesome. I have no room to complain. He's really making it happen. And then we have dogs that, people that come by and they just want to, they don't even want to do the ride. They just participate in our kennel tour. And it's just basically coming by to play with dogs for a couple of hours, where they sit there. And some of our guests will stay all day, just hanging out in the snow with the dogs.
I have 2 questions. They're kind of unrelated. But one, the oldest and the youngest dog. What's the oldest and the youngest dog you have?
Gosh, my oldest dog I have right now would probably be Skunky Monkey. He's about 15 years old.
Okay.
And he's a German Shorthair Pointer Husky mix. And the youngest dog I have right now is probably Blue and Echo. They're 2 sisters. That was my wife. My wife really wanted to breed 2 of our dogs together because they're both phenomenal, and we just wanted to see what would happen with their pups. And so that was our planned breeding, and they are 6 months old right now.
Total pups.
Yeah, oh yeah. I mean, they literally ate their house. They chewed it. I'm gonna have to buy them and make them a new house.
Keep them away from the TV.
Oh yeah,
They do not deserve Glee.
Yeah, exactly.
You do have to earn it.
Exactly.
Okay, and then we were talking about this a little bit before you started, but we were talking about the climate.
Mm-hmm.
And so how has the climate impacted you? And what do you do if there's no snow?
That's a great question, and that's something, to be honest, you guys, that's something that we're considering and talking about a lot, and how to move forward with what we do. The climate has changed quite a bit, and growing up in Park City, normally in November, our temperatures, if it didn't snow, at least our temperatures were really cool, and it would stay cool throughout the day. But I've been taking notes since 2015. Steadily the temperatures are increasing or maintaining warmer temps, this time of year. And after a scary winter like last year, we were only on sleds for 7 days out of the entire season. And
Wow.
the rest of the season we are on dry land. So we have these UTV Rangers, and we hook the dogs to the front of them. And the dogs don't pull any weight. It's just like a fun, elaborate dog walk so our guests can see how they run. But we're running the motor and going throughout the ranch, and it's just something to keep them active. But that's all we did last year, mainly, was just running on our wheels. And you hear stories of up north. I have a friend, he's an amazing man. His name is Tommy Bird. He's a world champion, and he describes even navigating through some of the open tundra, like the way the snow and the wind creates like crevices in the snow. They're able to guide their way because they knew which way was south, east, west, north. But now things have changed in that way where it's no longer doing that. It's throwing them off course. But also, I just rode him yesterday or a couple days ago, and he says, Fernando, they live way up north in Canada, and they don't have snow right now. He says, this is very strange. This is very, very unusual. So it's scaring me a little bit, not because of the longevity of the sport, but like for our climate in general, and even our water here in Utah, up in Summit County. I mean, they were trucking water into Echo, the little town of Echo, this last summer. It was pretty bad.
It's crazy. Well, and hopefully there's some stuff that they can do down the road. I mean, if you believe in some science, hopefully they can figure out some solutions. Like, I know that they try to seed some of the snow, but whether that impacts high enough like you or not.
Yeah. What's crazy, even you read about like the Park City Mountain Resort, they were supposed to open on the 18th, and they had to push back their opening date.
We'll see them at Christmas, maybe.
I know, like if that, who knows what will happen.
Yeah, I thought we were going to have a good stormy winter because we got those big storms, in early October.
Yeah, when I was a kid, we used to joke around that if we got good snowfall before Halloween, at least that one good storm, that'd kind of be a prelude to an epic season. But that's not the case anymore.
No.
Now it's like, oh, we got the snow, but you know what? That was it for the season. That was it. So, I don't know.
I'm still pulling for an epic season. I'm still pulling for that.
I hope so. Yeah. I know, knock on wood.
Totally knock on wood.
Get the Ice Miser up there, or whatever that was from that movie. I also on your site saw pet services, like boarding and stuff like that. Tell us about that.
We do offer some dog boarding at our ranch, and it's mainly for some of the northern breeds. We get a lot of our clients have very difficult, high-strung dogs that are kind of kicked out of the other boarding facilities, and so they'll call us and say, hey, can my dog come and hang out? So at your ranch while I'm on vacation. So Dana and I opened our facility up for some boarding. We only take about 10, maybe 15 dogs in if we're able to. And a lot of these guys, or clients are asking us, is there any way you can teach our dogs to run and pull? So, when we started with that, we started a sled dog school. So we have a lot of friends and clients and locals that come up and bring their dogs. And again, it's just teaching the dogs to channel their energy into doing something productive.
What's the most unique dog breed that you've had doing that?
The Greyhound Husky mixes.
Okay.
My gosh, yeah, they are insane. I mean,
how fast are they going?
So we ran an 8-miler at a race last year. They were averaging about 20 miles an hour for 8 miles, and this is like at 9,000 feet elevation. Isn't that insane? Wow. Yeah, they're fast.
We used to have a pug Boston Terrier. How would that do pulling your...
I think might be a lead dog, Pug Boston.
It'll be riding the lead dog. Sitting there.
Yeah.
We have a mini schnauzer. It'd be fun to see a whole team of mini schnauzers. Probably couldn't pull anybody of size.
Oh, they could pull me. Enough of them. 20 schnauzers pulling Steve.
That'd be awesome.
That would be.
But what advice do you have for people that are... I have a sister that will kind of host dogs for, like you were saying, when people go out of town. But what advice do you have for people raising dogs or trying to train them? What techniques have worked well for you?
Techniques, number one is be patient and kind, always. You always want to have that very tranquil mindset. You want to be... And if it's not working out, training session maybe isn't as good as you'd hope that day, just hang up hang up the harness, try the next day. There's no point in trying to really get the lesson done the way you want it to, because let's face it, life doesn't work out the way we want it to. Training, the same thing with training the dogs. It's not going to go according to an ABCD plan. And you kind of have to learn how to roll with the punches But I can't stress this enough. Like, you have to be very loving, very patient, and very kind. You know, and a lot of it with our rescue dogs that we get, some of them unfortunately had to come from a little bit of abusive background. So getting them to trust us is a huge challenge. But when they get there, because we have a very hands-off form of training. So unless we're loving on them, that's the only time that I'll allow people to touch them and love on them. But even if we're correcting them, there's no hands-on, right? Because even with my lead dogs, if I'm telling them to go G, which is right, and they're going the other way, sometimes that's my training run where I just go up, I'll ask them to come over to the right, they'll follow my hand gesture, and they'll stand. You know, and that takes maybe an hour, and then once that hour's over, we just go back to the truck. Yeah, I didn't get the training run that day, but we made a connection, and that's what counts. And so you have to be willing to be patient and then revisit it the next day if you get in a bind.
How are dogs at telling good people, characters of people?
I think they're pretty good judge of character, to be honest. The dogs, they have such a good intuitive perspective on life and on people, and I trust them. You know, it's funny, when your dogs, because we have a couple dogs that stay inside the house, and if they're looking into a dark corner and barking at something, you wonder, like, well, you know, what's over there? So every time I hear the dog
So they're
bark,
talking with ghosts.
probably, you know,
Or Bigfoot's outside.
Bigfoot's out.
It all makes a lot of sense.
Yeah. So always go with the dogs. You know, if you're in question, just go with what they're thinking. You'll be in good hands.
Hey, I don't. Katie's over there, and we had a dog, and she passed away a few years ago. But I had the chance to take care of her. She was older, but the pug Boston Terrier, and her name was Bella, and she was kind of stubborn, and she would snort, and she would fart, and she would like make the most weird noises. But I remember that one of the last times I was with her, I would sleep out on the couch, and she would just lay on the floor. She was too old to kind of jump up anymore, and I remember her waking me up early in the morning, and I'm wanting to go on the dog walk or just to go walk. I was like, damn it, like I didn't want to get up, and it was funny because she did her little business and then just made me sit, and she wanted to see the sunrise. And so that's what she woke me up to see, was the sunrise. And I still remember that like that was one of the last times I saw her. But in my mind, I was kind of like, okay, I was really pissed at her, but literally she made me watch that. And it was kind of cool because like she was watching it as well as making sure I was watching it. Yeah. But I kind of wondered like how perceptive dogs were to those kind of things. And I don't know. I think she knew what she was doing.
Oh, I'm sure. Yeah, I think dogs are more intuitive and more intelligent than we give them credit for. You know, it's not like everybody, but as a general society, they're more intelligent, more intuitive, more connected with everything than we give them credit for, I think.
Yeah, I agree. Totally. Well, I love that memory. Just knowing that, you know, I didn't see her much after that, and but just knowing that, like, it was like a really gorgeous sunset or sunrise, but it was just really cool.
That's
and
cool.
It just seemed totally planned by her, because, like, there's no other way I would have gotten my ass out of bed.
Yeah,
but
tired. Yeah, that's amazing. That's a great story.
But you probably have similar stories like that.
I do. You know, there's some there are times where one of the nights I remember is when we were training out. I was around midnight, 1 a.m. midnight, because I had such a busy day. The race team, I needed to train the race team still, and whether it's during the day, the morning, or the middle of the night, I need to get out, and they need to get their miles, or they go crazy. And I remember I was going up the Mirror Lake Byway. You guys been up there? How beautiful! Up going toward Bald Mountain.
Yeah.
We come out of the tree line, and it's just the stars are so vibrant. And I swear, this was in January. I can't remember, like a couple of years ago. And we seemed to not hit, but I looked up, and there was like a shower, almost like a meteor shower. Nothing crazy, but, you know, I just literally felt like it was just artwork at its best. You know, something so much bigger than me and that I could ever be. But yet I was so blessed to be able to witness that with my dogs. It's hard to put into words and describe it, but it's just such a poetic art form that I'm just so in awe of sometimes. You know, the moments like what you described, watching a sunset, that was probably my closest to that. Yeah.
I think that's cool.
Well, I don't have anything else. Do you have anything else, Steve?
No, I mean I could talk forever, but I have nothing in particular. Is that what you're asking? How can people find you? So, like, if they wanted to volunteer, or even if they want to schedule, like, to come visit.
Yeah, so we have a website, lunalobos.com. We have an Instagram page and Facebook, also under Rancho Luna Lobos. And we keep it pretty active with what we're doing on a day-to-day basis. So if you can't make it out to the ranch, but want to kind of see what we're doing, that's a good way to chime in.
Are you always looking for volunteers?
There's always poop to clean. Yeah.
Okay.
And always there's dogs to feed. So yeah.
To quote Jeff Goldblum, that's a big pile of shit.
Yeah, that's so funny.
Could probably make some good fertilizer out of that. We got to make do with some of that stuff.
Yeah, I need to research that.
I love that promotional video you have on the website where it shows the aerial views of you running and just kind of describing everything.
Yeah.
Very well done on that.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, that was done by a gentleman with Angelos Media. He's a local guy here, and he's done a lot of those. I don't know if you noticed the Moondogs documentary that he did on us. It was his cinematography is really impressive, and he was really good at capturing the voices of the dogs, and listening to us as we're trying to get our mission out there and more well known, especially with the touring industry, and trying to change the format of that a little bit and shine a brighter light on it in the sense of working together. So, like, kind of off subject, but there's 3 seasonal touring companies in Park City, and we've all kind of, so Dana and I have this nonprofit called Sledding for Hope, and it's more of the promoting education of sled dogs. So under this nonprofit, we were able to just kind of sit down with each individual touring company, and we've pretty much created a plan to work together and promote the wellness of the dogs even more than what we're required to, beyond the standards of what's required by animal control. And we've organized a system with world-class veterinarians that will be showing up to each one of our kennels and assessing every single dog. Well, not every single one of them, but a lot of them. And we'll have, like, unofficial, quote, quote, officials that come in that are well-versed in the sled dog world and help give us pointers and help each other grow as an industry. So that's something that we're working on right now. And Colby, the gentleman who filmed that, he's wanting to do a little piece on that as well. So I'm excited to see what he'll come up with that.
One of the closing things, I want to hear a shout-out to as many dogs as you can name.
Okay, yeah, we'll go from the top.
Do you need it? Let's get a timer.
Want to try it? Okay.
Yeah. I'm gonna give you. I'll give you 60 seconds.
Okay.
So hang on. We'll get this going.
Okay.
And in the video version, I'll try to put the names up
Okay.
as you do them.
And we're starting.
Perfect. So Zoe, Hank, Teller, Kira, Zion, Midnight, Prince, Sean, Takatna, Tsunami. Then we have Lou, Bianca, Dime, Cyclone, Steven, Denali, Cheppy, Lady, Anna, Phantom, Togo, Kroner, Unser, Oprah, Fire Saga, Harley Quinn, Bruce Wayne, Tornado.
You're at 32 seconds.
Uva, Fister, Jax, Lobito, Coda, Dooley, and then we have Balto,
15 seconds left.
Balto, Nutella, Reva, Borg, Torch. We have Umberto, Patty Boy.
9, 8.
We have Rolo, Durango, Midnight, Hurricane, Tafiti, and Arctic.
The reality is, you made up half of those fucking names.
Right, exactly.
There's no way.
You put a Steven in there.
You did throw Steven. And I actually assume that Steven is the best dog.
He is, yeah. He is.
Actually, again, he might be the lazy ass dog that's riding in the sled with you with the heated thermos of hot chocolate or whatever just back there. That's what Steven's doing.
This is Steven, yeah. He's a handful. He's so funny.
Well, the name fits.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dylan, ask your question.
Bonus questions.
Yeah, I like that.
The show's called Your Creativity. So what does creativity mean to you?
I think creativity would be finding something that's being true to yourself and creating that in either a way of, an art form or a way to help others, and always kind of make it come around full circle. If someone helps you in that sense, try to make it come full circle with that. Yeah. But being a creative, putting your creative spin on it of who you are and what you are.
And with the training and stuff like that, you probably have to get creative to kind of figure each other out.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. There's always, I don't think there are a whole lot of mushers that are out there that are swimming their dogs on a actual program. But I know if I want to stay competitive with my friends up north, hot Utah summer, cooler northern winter, I have to swim my dogs down here to keep them active.
That's awesome. And the next one is, who is your favorite Muppet and why?
My favorite Muppet?
Yeah.
Ooh. I don't know. My mom always called me the Cookie Monster growing up. He's probably, and I still love cookies, That is a Muppet, right? No, that's Sesame Street. No.
It'll count.
Yeah, it'll count.
counts,
Okay. Yeah, so I don't know if I'm going with that. Muppet, I'd say Big Bird, tall. He was awkward. I always felt like maybe I was awkward growing up. I could relate to him.
And then lastly, in the movie of your life, who would play you?
The movie of my life, who would
Yeah.
play me? Oh, my God. Those, I don't know. Probably like Napoleon Dynamite, John Heater,
John Heater
I
would
don't
play
know.
you.
Yeah.
He did have some good hair going.
He did. I wish I had hair, but yeah, maybe this because I'm envious. I'd like him to play me.
Well, I'll put it out there because I actually just met him on Saturday.
Did you really?
Yeah.
No way. Did
Yeah.
you really?
Yeah.
That's so funny.
Dylan
Once,
will line it up.
that's awesome. During Sundance one year, I was at a grocery store and I saw him, and he looked at me, and I looked back at him, and he just kind of nodded like, yeah, I was like, okay,
You guys had a moment.
yeah, you are Napoleon.
Did you ask him for a tater tot?
No, I was ran him off. I was too shy to do that.
It's nerve-wracking up there during Sundance where it's just so much going on. And you see him and you're just like, you're
Yeah.
kind of speechless.
Yeah, you don't know what to say, and I don't want to make him mad. And I've had a few really interesting encounters with celebrities coming out for dog sled rides, but yeah, those were.
Who was
interesting.
the biggest asshole?
Oh, I don't know if I want to.
He wants them to
I
come
haven't been there
backstage.
yet, so the award is still mine if I'm for the taking. Oh my gosh,
Plead the fifth on that one. Yeah, I don't.
that's cool. And then, how much are the tours if somebody wants to come up?
Yeah, for an actual sled ride, that we call it the dog sled experience. I think it's $350 for the 2 hours, and kennel tour. So I think we have it right at about $40 a person for a kennel tour, and then the kids camps and the winter camps are somewhere between like $200 and $250 for the week for the kids. Yeah.
Dylan, I challenge you to go this summer in a peanut butter suit and just walk through the kennels and see how long you last.
Like covered in peanut butter or dressed
Yeah.
up as a jar of
Oh no, covered in peanut butter. We need the smell.
Yeah.
My wife doesn't have like
I'll
peanut
fork
butter,
out
so
for peanut butter.
I don't have that
If
suit,
you
so-
want peanut butter, I will get you peanut butter and even a suit if you need it.
industrial peanut butter.
I'll get you whatever it needs. I think it could be a fun video.
That could be.
That would be awesome. I don't think Rolla would let you go. He'd keep you there. Yeah.
Get a lot of bear hugs.
Yeah, die happy.
The
I
dog
love
hugs.
dog hugs.
Yeah. They wouldn't let you leave. That's for sure.
Oh my gosh! Thank you so much for coming.
Guys,
yeah.
thank you.
Thanks for having me. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Bye.
Roof.